And welcome to a Roto Slappers little short here again for you. I'm Streetz. You know who's next to me. The one, the only, Matty Daddy. And we are here with a little bit of bad news. We're going to kill some vibes here because we're not talking stocks up. We're talking stocks down. Ugh. I mean, what are we going to do with these guys? But anyways, let's get right to it. We have two guys that we're going to group together as part of this because they're both on the same team. But we'll kick it off with Davante Adams, whose stock is definitely on the decline. What are you doing with Davante Adams?
Man, it is ugly right now. We're looking at back-to-back games where this guy's been – he started off kind of hot, but now he doesn't know who he's got at quarterback. We're looking at – you're not getting that top 4-round production that you thought you were getting from Davante Adams, and the guy's 30 years old. So from a dynasty perspective, you're pivoting fast. I don't think this guy gets traded at the deadline. I think now's the time to recoup what you have. We talked previous in the stock up episode, a Christian Kirk. You could maybe pull out a Christian Kirk in a first for Davante Adams in a second. Maybe a good pivot move. See what you can get. But, yeah, I'm worried. I'm concerned here, Streets. Is this a guy you're keeping in redraft?
Yeah, I don't know what I would do in redraft. If I can, I'd probably use the name value in redraft right now. I try to go out and get me a running back is what I might try to go do. Go get me a running back and Rashee Rice combined in return for Davante Adams.
I like that.
Rashee Rice has outscored him the last 3 weeks heading into this one. He got Davante Adams put up. This is a good week for him with 12.7 PPR points. A good week. That's what I'm hoping Drake London was giving me a few weeks ago was 12.7 PPR points. I'm expecting 20 out of Davante Adams, but at least it wasn't single digits like the last 2 weeks that it's been. But the Raiders, yeah, they just got beat by a very bad Chicago team. Brian Hoyer, Aiden O'Connell being quarterbacks there. The usage ain't there for Davante Adams. Does he get traded? They're not going to trade him. Who knows what they're going to do with him? That's a situation that I'm starting to get a little worried with right there for Davante Adams. So if I can move him, I'm moving him in redraft. Dynasty, I would have tried moving him.
You might be a little late in Dynasty, but this is definitely a player you want to avoid redraft Dynasty. If you're looking at a wide receiver 23 week is his best week in the last 5, you're in trouble.
Yeah. That's why I said Rashee Rice and a running back might get you a little bit more in return there as that role grows, especially if the person who has Rashee Rice in your redraft lead doesn't really know who Rashee Rice even is and all that other fun stuff. So, yeah, I would do that. His teammate would be next here. Josh Jacobs.
Ooh. What is going on with Vegas here? This is it's almost disgusting to watch. These two guys just not live up to the potential you would expect from Jacobs, guy who's getting drafted top 12, who's done nothing in his career but produce. And now you're looking at back-to-back weeks where this guy's getting somewhat the volume and he's not making catches. His rushing attempts is under 3 yards almost the whole it's under 4 for the whole year. Yeah. Don't let the box score, fool you. This guy has sucked so far this year. You think Najee Harris sucks? Wait till you meet Josh Jacobs.
Yeah. 2 of 5 targets last week, 1 of 4 or something this previous week. So yeah, not catching passes. The volume, sure, it's there, but the yardage output is not there, and it hasn't been there all season for Jacobs. He's just been a volume-based running back, but he's on a bad offense. It's not a good offense, especially with Hoyer and Aiden O'Connell now there. I talk about Joe Mixon and how I'd go buy him because, yeah, his efficiency is low, but he's on what I expect to be a good offense the rest of the season. So he should score some touchdowns. It kind of weighs it out, especially in this landscape. I don't feel the same for Josh Jacobs at all as I do on that one. That is a ordeal, another name type value I would try to get out of.
Well, you said it. You said the efficiency's not there and the team sucks. So when you combine those two, you're just set up. You're going off the rails. It's just a matter of time.
You're praying every Sunday when you set your lineup. Hey, maybe he'll touch the ball 30 times and get me 18 points. Yeah, or maybe he's going to bottom out and give me 7 and 30 touches. There's no middle ground with him. So it's one or the other. So I would definitely, I'd be selling Josh Jacobs if I could.
Don't take this out of context. He is the RB11. So before you bash this
I
take,
know.
look at the stats. Look at that under 4 yards per carry. Look at him not catching passes that are being targeted at him. Those are both signs that this team is just not good.
Yeah, and the thing for me is he might be RB11, right, in PPR leagues. So I'm going to give you that. But let's look at the running back landscape as a whole so far. Like, it hasn't been good. So the RB11 this year in PPR is not what like we normally have seen because the top heavy guys aren't there. Let's do this. If I did points per game, it'd probably be a different story if I don't have it, but if I found it. But he's definitely not top. Yeah, he is not even in the top. He is 20th in points per game. So he's 11th in total. So you can use that to your advantage in a trade. But I'm telling you, he's 20th in points per game. And that's because, like we said, the top end guys weren't there. Jonathan Taylor missed 4 weeks. Austin Eckler was hurt. You had Kyron Williams and Raheem Mostert and all these Zach Moss and all these other guys that have filled the spots in the top 10 that won't finish the season in the top 10. So I would use Josh Jacobs in the points per game, knowing the points per game, use the total, like he just said, at 11 and try to sell them. That's what I dig it. We got one. Oh, we have one more. I was like, oh, did we do them all? Last but not least, he played last night. Very hot topic. Very, very hot topic. I blame A.J. Brown for breaking him, but Devonta Smith, not been good since those first fantastic 2 weeks that he's had. He's running all the routes. He's on the field the whole time. He's just exercising all game out there. I know last week he had 11 targets and made some big drops, but 5 targets last night, especially in that game, not good. What are you doing with Devonta Smith?
I think Devonta Smith is kind of what we've thought he was. He's potentially a great player. There's no doubt about that. But when you have a healthy Dallas Goedert and you have A.J. Brown, tight end's not deep. Receiver is very deep. You know A.J. Brown's going to get those targets. You know Goedert's going to get his just to offset that defense they're playing. So I think you're looking at a guy who's going to have a lot of, variance in what his production is going to be. The snaps are there. That's great. But to think he's going to be a high-end wide receiver too, you're probably banking on the wrong guy. Now, could he be a wide receiver 3? Yes. But could he be a Tyler Lockett, a boom-bust guy? Absolutely.
What I think he is I think it's tough. He might, usage-wise lately, he's been a wide receiver 3.
Right.
But if I rank him weekly, it's going to be as a wide receiver 2.
Right.
It's too hard not to because he's in a great offense. He got Jalen Hurts as his quarterback. Like the whole shebang for him is great. And he has the potential to go out there and score a monster week for you. So he could end up finishing as a wide receiver 1. The overall Eagles offense is kind of declined. They haven't been as good in the red zone as they were a year ago. So the touchdowns are down a little. It's like Jalen Hurts in the tush push a lot down there, or a big touchdown to A.J. Brown or something like that. That's what they've been. If that corrects itself a little bit, maybe Devonta Smith gets a few more touchdowns as the season kind of progresses, but I would probably rank him back end wide receiver 2 with upside. He's not what I like about him. He's an awesome player. Don't get me wrong. Great kid too, like very humble. And the one thing we're all hoping for is for him to have the squeaky wheel, because we know how this goes in fantasy. The squeaky wheel always gets oiled out there, right? AJ Brown did it week 2, and then look what happened after that. Now it's just been AJ Brown force-fed 15 targets a week out there. So but he's not going to do it. He's not the type of guy. So he's not going to complain and go out there and do it. But I think he does get a get-right game against Washington this next week. I really do think that they want to get him back up and get him going as we go. But you are right. I think he's more Tyler Lockett like the rest of the season than he is a 1A, 1B type guy that we might have thought going into the season.
Yeah, I think that's fine to have. But if you're getting trade offers, people are offering you Devonta Smith in a trade and redraft. I think you just need to realize you're not getting a top 15 receiver necessarily. Are you getting a top 30 receiver? Absolutely. But just don't bank as this guy as your number one on your team. This is a high variance wide receiver too.
So I'll ask you a couple questions real quick. So we're talking redraft value here. Garrett Wilson or Devonta Smith?
I'm going Garrett Wilson. Just the volume alone. He's the main target. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is. He tends to eat regardless.
That's why I was curious on that one, because they might. What if they get Ryan Tannehill too? That is an upgrade. I know he hasn't been great, but like maybe he can get the ball to Garrett Wilson. Zay Flowers or Devonta Smith?
I think you got to go Zay here too. These are two guys that, they have the skill and they're getting the production. The only thing you have to hope for with Devonta Smith is a Goddard injury. If Dallas Goddard goes down, then you get same old song and dance Devonta Smith. But till that happens, you're still probably pivoting to these guys with the high target share.
I got one more for you. Let's see how this one goes. Drake London or Devonta Smith?
Is this like carbon copies? Like, golly, both have the talent.
That's why I said I had one more for you, because it was going to be the probably the most fun one of them.
So my problem with London is you saw him eat, but if eating is getting 11 points per game without a touchdown, it's not that sexy. So give me Devonta Smith over Drake London.
I know. I told you I was like that's what I was hoping Drake London would get, was 12 points. When we were talking about
that's when you know the Falcons are like just stunning your growth, because you're like happy when you get 10 to 12 points from Drake London.
Yeah, I'd still take Smith too. I take Smith easily over London still, and it's close, but I probably still take Smith over Zay Flowers. As crazy as it sounds, that's where we probably separate. I'll agree on the Wilson though.
Makes sense.
But it's close on the Zay. It really is.
And that's the thing with Devonta Smith. He's a good player. He's on a good team. You're just not seeing the production. Maybe that production comes moving forward. You just have cause for concern right now in what we're dealing with.
He's gonna be a peak and valley guy, and I think you nailed it. Tyler Lockett is a good comp.
Right.
I think it's a perfect comp.
And Lockett's good. But when DK's out, or when somebody's hurt, when a Dallas Goddard is hurt, then Smith's great.
I agree. Hey, maybe he's a buy low even though his stock is down.
maybe not.
The problem with us is you always try to find that hole. Like, they suck now, so maybe I can get them for cheap. But
you're a hustler. You can't help that.
But there you go, baby. Those are the 3 trending down players. Thank you for watching.